Hello everybody, what's up?
Craft and acting style. Toby Stephens is widely respected for his commanding presence, emotional depth, and versatility. He brings a unique gravitas to both heroes and villains, often portraying complex, morally ambiguous characters. His portrayal of Captain Flint in Black Sails is especially lauded for its nuance, turning what could have been a one-dimensional pirate into a tragic antihero driven by ideology and personal pain. Stephens has spoken about his love of repertory theater, and how that shaped his range, moving between Shakespearean tragedy, contemporary drama, and high-octane action. His classical training at LAMDA sharpened his facility with text, particularly evident in roles like Hamlet, Coriolanus, and Antony in Antony and Cleopatra. Studio microphone voice work and audio drama. Toby Stephens also has a rich and recognizable voice, making him a frequent presence in audiobooks, radio dramas, and narration. He's been a regular on BBC Radio 4 dramas, voicing everything from literary classics to thrillers. Fans of Doctor Who might recognize him from multiple Big Finish audio dramas, where he's brought sci-fi characters to life with flair. His audiobook work includes narrations of Ian Fleming's James Bond novels, and he's been praised for his range in portraying different characters vocally. Global recognition despite his deep roots in British theatre and BBC dramas. Stephens has cultivated a global fanbase. His role in Die Another Day, 2002, introduced him to Hollywood audiences as Gustav Graves, a suave and chilling Bond villain. Black Sails was a huge hit internationally, and for many fans, his portrayal of Captain Flint is the definitive take on the character. In Lost in Space, he played John Robinson with a mix of stoicism, vulnerability, and warmth, earning praise for making a classic dad role compelling in a modern sci-fi context. DNA family legacy and public persona. As the son of two acting legends, Dame Maggie Smith and Sir Robert Stephens, Toby grew up surrounded by theatre. In interviews, he's acknowledged the weight of that legacy but emphasizes the importance of carving out his own path. Unlike many celebrity children, he largely earned his career through rigorous stage work and challenging roles, not tabloid fame. He's often described as modest and introspective in interviews, even self-deprecating, despite his towering talent. Critics often point to how his choices reflect a serious actor more interested in the craft than celebrity. What's next? Stephens continues to work across genres. With the success of Percy Jackson and the Olympians and his recent return to high fantasy and mythology, there's renewed interest in casting him in major streaming projects. There's also buzz about a possible return to the stage in London or New York, something he's hinted at in recent interviews. Collaborations and on-screen chemistry. Stephens is often praised for the intense chemistry he builds with co-stars, whether it's romantic tension, rivalry, or camaraderie. A few highlights. Ruth Wilson, Jane Eyre, 2006. Their brooding, emotional dynamic as Rochester and Jane made this adaptation a fan favorite. Critics still cite this as one of the most emotionally resonant Jane Eyre versions. Jessica Parker Kennedy, Black Sails. As lovers and co-conspirators, their scenes had fire and vulnerability. He balanced Flint's mentor, protector role with genuine romantic connection. Anna Louise Plowman, Private Lives, his real-life wife, who starred with him in Noel Coward's play. Their on-stage banter was electric, witty, and laced with years of shared history. Movie camera behind the scenes. Director's eye and influence. Toby's not just a performer, he's got a director's eye, too. While he hasn't directed major projects yet, he's deeply involved in shaping his characters. On Black Sails, he worked closely with writers and directors to ensure Flint's arc was coherent, layered, and tragic. He's said in interviews that Flint is the role that broke and rebuilt him. There have also been murmurs over the years about Toby stepping behind the camera for stage direction. Especially Shakespeare, though nothing official, yet. Brain public image and intellectual leanings. Stephens is known for being thoughtful, articulate, and slightly reserved in interviews. He's often more interested in discussing the themes of a story or his character's psychology than promoting himself. He reads widely, especially history and philosophy, and brings that depth to his roles. He's also been refreshingly candid about the mental toll of acting, especially during his Black Sails years, which involved long filming periods in South Africa away from family. He speaks honestly about burnout, perfectionism, and the struggle to balance ambition with personal life. Trophy critical reputation and underrated status. Critics tend to describe him as criminally underrated, an actor who never quite became a mainstream Hollywood fixture, but who consistently delivers top-tier performances. He's the kind of actor other actors and directors love working with, dependable, intelligent, intense without being dramatic off set. His work in theater is especially admired. If you're in London theater circles, his Coriolanus, Antony and Cleopatra, and The Real Thing are all part of his legend. Magnifying glass trivia and fun facts. Graduation. Cap. Stephens turned down roles in big-budget films to stay true to theater early in his career. He voiced James Bond in several BBC radio adaptations, becoming both a Bond villain, Die Another Day, and Bond himself in different formats. Bow and arrow. He's a skilled archer and fencer, which came in handy for his swashbuckling roles. Books. His go-to comfort read? George Eliot's Middlemarch. He once said it keeps him grounded. Evolution of an actor. From young leading man to complex elder statesman in his early years, Stephens was often cast as the fiery romantic lead, handsome, brooding, intense. Think, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, 1996. As Gilbert Markham, impulsive, passionate, idealistic. Jane Eyre, 2006, as Edward Rochester, tortured, sarcastic, darkly romantic. But he's aged like fine wine, taking on more complicated, morally gray roles in his 40s and 50s. Captain Flint in Black Sails is the perfect example, an intellectual turned revolutionary turned pirate, driven by both grief and ideology. John Robinson in Lost in Space lets him be the emotionally distant but ultimately loving father, grounded and human. Poseidon in Percy Jackson and the Olympians gives him an otherworldly gravitas, fitting for a god but with a dad-like warmth. He's transitioned gracefully from romantic lead to world-weary strategist, and that evolution has only sharpened his appeal. Globe international reach and appeal. Though British to the bone in training and tone, Stephens has worked extensively in South Africa, Black Sails filming location, New Zealand. His wife is Kiwi-born, and they often work from there. America, Die Another Day, Lost in Space, Percy Jackson. He's managed to do something rare. Stay a classically trained actor while building a modern streaming-era career. He can switch from Shakespeare to sci-fi to fantasy without missing a beat. His accent work is impeccable too, whether he's playing American, John Robinson, flamboyantly posh, Gustav Graves, or Caribbean-tinged English, Black Sails, he's always believable. Family man woman girl boy family dynamics. The Stephen Smith legacy. Toby is the son of two acting giants, Maggie Smith, legendary for Harry Potter, Downton Abbey, and a mountain of stage work. Robert Stephens, a founding member of the National Theatre, known for his Shakespearean brilliance and intense personality. Toby has said in interviews that their fame was a blessing and a burden. He revered their talent but had to work extra hard to escape being Maggie Smith's son. Despite that pressure, he's always spoken of them with warmth, especially his mother, who passed in 2024. His reflections on her legacy were humble, emotional, and rich with love. His brother, Chris Larkin, is also an actor. Fun fact, they don't share a surname because Chris wanted to avoid nepotism. And then there's his wife, Anna Louise Plowman, a strong performer in her own right. Their marriage is a rarity in showbiz, low-key, lasting, collaborative. They've acted together on stage. And they're known to juggle parenting duties across continents to stay grounded. Red Heart fandom and cult status. He might not be splashed across gossip magazines. But Toby has one of the most loyal fanbases out there. Black Sails fans consider Flint a Shakespearean-level character. And many cite Stephens' performance as life-changing. The Jane Eyre crowd still swoons over his Rochester stare. Sci-fi fans were shocked by how layered his Lost in Space performance was, expecting a stock military dad and getting emotional depth. He's active in interviews, comic cons, and fan Q&As, but always with a touch of British reserve. Still, he clearly appreciates his fans, and they love him for staying focused on the work. Movie camera hidden gems you might have missed. Looking for some deeper cuts in his filmography? Check these out. Cambridge Spies 2003, he plays Kim Philby in this sharp BBC miniseries about the notorious British spies. Subtle, chilling, and brilliant. The Machine 2013, a stylish indie sci-fi film where he plays a morally conflicted scientist. Very Ex Machina vibes before that was a thing. The Great Gatsby 2000, BBC, yes, he was Gatsby. It's lesser known than the DiCaprio version, but Stephens plays it with fragility and passion. Twelfth Night 1996, as Orsino, early in his career. Full of Shakespearean earnestness and romantic flair. Theatre royalty. Stephens on stage. While many know him from screen, the stage is where Toby's artistry really shines, and where critics lose their minds over his performances. He's tackled some of Shakespeare's heaviest hitters with style and intellect. Notable roles: Coriolanus, RSC, 1994, his raw, intense portrayal won him the Ian Charleson Award. Critics called it a performance of explosive force and tragic dignity. Hamlet, 1999, Rose Theatre. One of the most psychologically sharp portrayals of the character in modern British theatre, deliberately introverted, fragile, and sardonic. Antony and Cleopatra, 2012. Paired with Eve Best, their chemistry was magnetic, and his aging, impulsive Antony was full of passion and regret. The Real Thing, 2000, as Henry. He brought heartache and biting wit to Tom Stoppard's meta-theatrical masterpiece. Stephens says he loves theater for its immediacy and danger. You don't get second takes. And the audience energy changes everything. Film frames roles he almost took, what could have been. Over the years, there have been rumors and near casts that make you wonder. Movie camera. He was apparently considered for James Bond after Pierce Brosnan, but felt the villain label from Die Another Day might have sealed his fate. Face mask. He turned down several major film offers in the early 2000s to continue doing Shakespeare, saying, "There's no substitute for the thrill of live performance." Man superhero rumors swirled that he screen tested for a Marvel role in the early 2010s, possibly a villain or older version of a hero, but nothing came of it. Clapperboard approach to craft. Acting as archaeology. Toby has said in interviews that he approaches roles like an archaeologist, digging through backstory, subtext, and internal contradictions. He avoids playing characters as types, instead focusing on motivation, pain, and hidden longing. About Captain Flint, he once said, "He's not just a pirate. He's a philosopher, a soldier, A man who has loved and lost so profoundly that the only thing left is to burn the world down. He's known for extensive preparation, including creating internal timelines of character histories, listening to music to set emotional tones before scenes, avoiding typecasting by taking risks, like going from black sails to a tender, grounded dad in Lost in Space. Mike, what others say about him. Ruth Wilson, co-star, Jane Eyre. Toby gives you so much in a scene: intensity, stillness, danger. It's hard not to fall in love with Rochester when he plays him. Neil Marshall, director. He's one of the
Bye bye.